Let's talk about the Raj Jackson incident that happened over the weekend. So, Raj Jackson, in case you haven't heard, is the son of the very popular and fan favorite Quinton Rampage Jackson. His son Raj was at a pro wrestling event, and there was an incident that happened before the match. He was just there as a spectator, by the way, but they brought him in back to kind of meet the wrestlers, and I believe one of the wrestlers thought that Raj Jackson was another wrestler. He was talent, as they say. And what happened was is that this wrestler hit like a fake beer can onto Raj, and Raj took it very personally. And at the time, after it was explained, that the wrestler thought that, who by the way is an army veteran, thought that Raj was a wrestler and that he was a talent because there were like video cameras, or it was being recorded, I should say. And that's why he kind of just did it because he wanted to enhance the show or the program of the show. Raj took offense with it. He told the guy it was very tense and a fight almost broke out. And then once they realized what was going on, the gentleman, the wrestler, went up to Raj and apologized and shook his hand, and they seemed to have squashed it, as my clients say. Now, several minutes later, when the match was going on, Raj Jackson jumps into the ring. Now, he does this with the consent of the promoters and everybody else involved because they knew that that incident broke out earlier and they wanted to kind of capitalize on it and kind of make a show of it. But again, it was all part of the routine. What wasn't part of the routine is when Raj went into the ring, he picked him up and then he slammed him so hard, slammed the wrestler so hard on his head that he concussed him. He knocked him out. And when he knocked him out, he just started punching his face over and over and over again. And even when people were trying to pull him off, he continued to punch his face over and over and over again. And I've been getting a lot of questions over the last day about this incident because it's been going viral. And what you want to remember in a case like this is, what is consensual here, what is within the scope of the game, and what is not. And a situation like this is very, very common. It happens all over. It's in, the NFL. Is it okay for a player to take his helmet off and hit another player who also has his helmet off, and take that helmet and basically use it as a weapon? I had a case many years ago with a hockey game where somebody, at the end of the third period, the buzzer rings, a guy takes his hockey sticks, hits another guy. And the defense is, oh, this is in the course or in the scope of the game, right? And if you're playing a game like hockey or football or fighting like in the UFC or in wrestling, you're consenting to this, right? That's the defense that people think is the appropriate one. That may work, but in a situation like Raj, it's not going to work because the injury and the scope of what occurred was so far beyond the scope of the consent. It's so far beyond the scope of the game that it is no longer a game. You're no longer consenting to the touching or the contact that happens during the scope of that particular conduct or match, again, like a wrestling match or a UFC fight or a football game. Now it's criminal, right? What happened with Raj and this wrestler goes beyond what they agreed to. He picked him up, he slams him on his head, and he concusses them. He concusses him. That was not planned. On top of that, these were real punches to the face over and over and over again. It was planned. There was somebody said, "Oh, this is extreme wrestling. This is how it works." No, this you could tell by the way the ref and all the other fighters came in to try to pull him off that it was real and that this was exactly what Raj intended, which is sad, but this is what he intended. And his intent before, during, and after because he was videotaping this. The other wrestler was on the ground. He was knocked out. He was just taking these blows. And the question is this criminal? And the answer is absolutely 110%. This is criminal. This is a battery or possibly really an aggravated battery, depending on the state. The injuries are relatively severe, and the evidence is very, very strong. You really don't have much of a defense in this situation to say that, oh, he consented to it and this is part of the game, right? This is part of the match. This goes beyond the scope of the normal match, the normal rules, any type of consensual behavior that a football game, a hockey game, again, a wrestling match, anything like that would normally happen and participants would consent to. This is a crime, and Raj Jackson, as much as I love him and his father, are in a lot of trouble.